This is Brittany with Falling Water Soap, and I just thought that I would kind of let everyone see a behind the scenes look of how I make soap and, just kind of an inside look at things. So I am going to be making a lavender and cedarwood soap. So I'm actually going to be doing a double batch. So I already went ahead and started mixing up the one. Ooh, it's thicker than I thought it would be. So yeah, so I'm soaping, I think these are all about 80 degrees, maybe 85. Ideally you want your oil mixture and your lye water to be about the same temperature. If one is hotter or colder significantly than the other, you start running into problems with it saponifying too quickly, and you don't want that. So I'm soaping a little bit cooler, so I'm actually like 78, so that's good. So what I'm going to be doing is taking the lye water and mixing it in with my oils. So my oils, I use organic olive oil, organic cocoa butter, coconut oil, a little bit of castor oil, and then sustainably harvested and organic palm oil. So try to use organic oils whenever possible. I'm going to be moving over to using organic coconut oil. I just wanted to use up with the last of what I have that's the conventional before I move on to that. So right now, all of my oils, it's very translucent. You can kind of see that. But once I mix in the lye water, it's gonna make it cloudy, a little more opaque, and that's the emulsification happening. It's the lye and the soap, lye and the oils reacting, becoming soap. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour in my lye water, and what I do is I pour the lye water down the side. A, no splashing, and B, no bubbles in my soap, which is, you don't want that. So if we can see this. There we go. So I am making the lavender and cedarwood. I've been doing it for a while. It's one of the first soaps that I made. Okay, and I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. Normally it's just been white and purple, but I'm going to try something else. I don't know if you can see this very well. Camera? Okay. It's kind of a, I don't know, a fun yellowy, goldeny green. I don't know, like a golden apple or pear or something like that. So anyway, mix the lye into my oils, and you can kind of see how it's getting a little cloudy down here at the bottom. And once I start mixing it, it's really gonna start getting cloudy as it emulsifies. So I'm gonna use my stick blender. You could do this by hand, but it would take literally hours. Whereas doing it with the stick blender speeds things up significantly. So first thing I'm gonna do is try to get some of the bubbles out. All right. Okay, it's at a super light trace, and all that means is that when I kind of swirl my stick blender over things and I let it drip back in, that you can kind of see it leaves a little bit of a trail. So now that I have both of my soap mixtures kind of finished, I'm going to go ahead and mix in my fragrance. So I'm going to hit this one real quick, see if I can loosen it up a little bit. waste? Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and mix my fragrance in. And I am not going to stick blend my fragrance in. Fragrance, especially anything with floral notes, tends to make the soap move pretty fast. So I want to definitely keep it fluid for as long as I can. Can do more fun stuff when it's fluid. So I'm just gonna mix this in a little bit. And so I normally do 2 colors for this soap, and I'm gonna try doing 3 this time. So doing the purple, the white, and the green that I showed you. So I already have some of my colors mixed up. So I'm gonna put a little bit from each. Let's see. And it doesn't look very white right now, but once I start in with the stick blender, that's really loosened up a lot. Okay, that's good. So, still see? Great. Alright. Doing this with gloves on is a little difficult. If I had been thinking ahead, I would have opened it up without my gloves ahead of time. There we go. I end up making lots of dishes to wash. Purple, if I can. There we go. This purple is actually called lavender, so I thought good color to use. Okay. So now we need to mix things up. And like I said before, you need to start at the lightest color and go to the darkest color. And since this green is kind of a yellowy green, I'm gonna do that in a second. So finish off the purple. Alright. So I always keep my spatula handy because while the stick blender is great at mixing the soaps up, it doesn't always get at the bottom of things, so. Alright, Casey, great. Alright. Medium trace now, which is still fine. Like I said, florals tend to move fast. So this isn't like a white, but it still can help pop the other colors. So move that away onto the green. So I try to mix hand mix it in a little bit at first so that I don't go to stir with the stick blender and it go poof. Having your colorant go poof is never fun. Okay. I don't know if I like that color. Yeah. If I don't like it when it finishes, then I do it differently next time. But a lot of times, once the soap has actually settled down and cured, it looks a lot different than what it does when it's still kind of fluid like this. So. Now we're going to move on to the purple. And once again, I'm going to, oh, that one's a little thick, stir it up. It went poof on me a little bit, even without the stick blender. Purples tend to look, oh dear. That's why ideally you want to wear sleeves. At this point, you're not going to really get lye burns, or it's not going to hurt. Mostly at this point when it splashes on you, it's just going to be kind of uncomfortable. But, so purples at this point end up looking a little, I don't know, grayish. They tend to look better, like I said, once the kind of cure a little bit. Although maybe I might want to add a little bit of purple. So. Me and the bag and the gloves. But you don't want to take your clothes off. I think you've already started. Okay. We're going to leave it open just in case. So anyway, if you're being smart, you wear long sleeves when you do this. But currently it is super hot in the apartment and we have no air conditioning at the moment. So it makes it really uncomfortable. Okay, this is a better purple color. It'll deepen, like I said, once it cures, but purples and soap are notoriously picky. So get the bubbles out. Fun part. Getting it into the mold and doing my swirl. So, before I was doing like, well, I wasn't doing like, I was doing what was called or what is called an in the pot swirl. But with me doing it this way, it makes it a little bit harder to do it that way. And, you know, if I'm changing up the colors, I might as well change other things up. So. Alright, let's see. Move these out of the way since I don't need them anymore. Got a good view. Look at that. Alright, these are my two molds. I have the silicone liner. These are wooden molds that I have purchased, but my significant other, he built me some that I actually like better because the sides are a little taller, and it fits the mold better than the place that actually makes the mold that goes with the liner. So, go figure. Alright, so I think I'm going to try to do a hanger swirl, so I'm just gonna kind of layer things in. Ooh, maybe not. Might be doing a plop. Okay, that was weird. It might be because it's so hot in here. I'm not sure. Be nice to be able to soap and air conditioning. Alright. So I'm just going to start laying lines. It's not thick, but it's been a little, I don't know, just not as fluid as I'm used to. Ooh. Go with the green. I'll get that mixed in. We're mixing the others. So I made soap earlier today too. I made 3 loaves earlier. I made 2 eucalyptus spearmint, and I made 1 oatmeal milk and honey. So the eucalyptus spearmint is actually a new scent for me. I just started making it, and I had one of my first shows with it. I did a smaller craft show earlier in the month, but this is my first like big one with it, and it sold really well. And so I went ahead and made 2 batches of it. And sometimes I feel like that's the best way to do it, where I'll do just a single loaf, see how it sells. If it doesn't sell well, then I end up use it myself, or I'll use it myself, or you know, give it to family and friends. And I seem to be keeping a lot of my family and friends in soap right now, so I guess they know that they can get it from me, and they just go ahead and do that. I started making soap in part because of my mom. She was buying a lot of homemade soap, natural soap, not the detergent that you buy. That's normal soap. And so I started doing that, and it was fun because you could kind of control what was going to be in your soap. So, you know, you knew exactly what was going into it, and you didn't have to worry about, I don't know, what kind of chemicals or preservatives or, you know, any kind of other shenanigans. And all the scents I use are phthalate free. You know, I'm trying to use organic oils and just trying to make things, I don't know, as natural as you can be. I mean, I'm not crazy about it, like having to have everything be 100%, you know. But at the same time, it's, I don't know, it's nice to be able to control that sort of thing. So anyway, because of my mom, I started getting into it, and you know, I've always had sensitive skin as well, so, you know, being able to really make a soap that works for me, that I like, that works, you know, good with my skin, was a lot of fun. So the hardest part about making soap is that it takes a month to cure. So you want to let it sit for at least 4 weeks, if not 6 or 8. So when I was testing recipes and kind of tweaking things. It was frustrating because it takes you, you know, a month to find out if, okay, if I do more of this or less of that or, you know, whatever, it takes you a month to find out if that worked or not, which is a little frustrating. Okay, I'm gonna leave a little bit in the bucket, or in the buckets, in the containers so that I can pretty up the top once we do the hanger swirl. And I know I said I didn't like this green, but it's looking really pretty with the purple and the white. Okay. All right. Get my hanger tool. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Obviously not prepared. I was gonna try to do a different kind of swirl, but you know, when it starts to thicken up, you wanna do what you gotta do. Ooh. That's not good. Okay. And what's hard is like, you don't know what it looks like on the inside and you don't wanna overdo it. At the same time, you want to do it enough that you can tell you did something. So hopefully it turns out pretty. So I'll be able to cut this in 24 to 48 hours. Yeah, stuff everywhere. You want to give it time to harden up. You don't want to cut it when it's too soft, but you also don't want to wait too long to cut it because then it's too hard. And so I have a fancy cutter, and if it's too hard, it makes it really hard to cut. And so now we're gonna kind of lay some soap here on top. And I'll do some things to pretty it up. Not that this isn't pretty. It's kind of, I don't know, streaky and fun. I'm going to do the purple last, so it's going to be what's on top. Probably still have too much of this green. Like I said, I usually use a different mold. And it's got a little bit more room in it, but I used it earlier with the batches I did earlier, so you know, you make do. I don't like not using all my soap, but I might have to this time. I don't want to have them overfill either. Yep, I can still see things. Probably right in your view though. Let's see if I can switch it up. I am right-handed, so I probably should have done the video from the other side. That would have made too much sense. Oh, it needs purple over here. Yeah. So the apartment that we're in right now doesn't have a lot of space. And so I have this folding table that I actually use for craft shows that I put out when I am making soap. And then I have to, once I'm done, I fold it up and put it back away. And so it'd be nice to have this place where I have space. But we'll see. use the soap, use all the batter, than leave something behind. And I know some soapers are, you know, really meticulous where they use every single speck of the soap they make. I am not quite that awesome. Let's see, I'll got a little bit more of this. It smells really good. I really like this scent. It's just a good kind of neutral scent. It's not overly feminine or overly masculine. You know, you hear the lavender, I think sometimes they're like, oh, it's a, I don't know, overly feminine soap, and it's not. It's a good kind of gender neutral scent. At least I think so. Maybe I'm biased. So you might be looking and thinking, oh, the top of this is just such a hot mess. Or maybe you're looking at it and saying, oh, that's pretty. What's she gonna do to ruin it? But I like to, I don't know. Like what you see on the inside ends up being what's, you know, kind of the fun part. Seeing the swirls and everything, but at the same time, it's also really fun to, I think it's fun to also have the tops have a little something. Okay. And now, so I'm going to use a bamboo skewer, and you don't want to put it in like deep. You just want to kind of a little bit at the top. I'm just going to do little swirls, just enough to kind of, you know, smooth out the tops, incorporate it. You don't want to overly mix, but at the same time, you also want to, you know, do a little something with it. But yeah, see, you only want a little bit of the bamboo skewer going into the, yeah, it's not gonna work. Yeah, I wasn't feeling the green at first, but I'm really feeling it now. I feel like that spot needs some purple. Yeah, don't want to overdo it. So, all right. So at this point, like I said, you let it cure for 24 to 48 hours. So this is Saturday night. So probably Monday night, I'll go ahead and hand cut it, and of course show photos once I'm all done with that. But at this point, I just lots of dishes to do and cleaning up. So anyway, hope you enjoyed your behind the scenes look at things. If you have any questions or comments, just let me know. Thanks.